today we're going to be making a rosette with Gwen Studios ribbon, and what I have here is a ribbon that is about 1.5 inches wide, so a thicker or wider ribbon, and a satin ribbon. And then I have a template that you can print out for making rosettes. I'm going to be using the smaller one that I have cut off from the larger print. And then I have some buttons that I grabbed from Buttons Galore More. And so this was a box exclusive, and I'm using this center flat back pearl. And then I grabbed 2 buttons from this box, kind of sunny yellow. It's called Summer, the Summer box. And so this is going to be the center of our rosette, and then we're going to build it up with adding the yellow button onto that. And I was going to use my diamond glaze to hold that in place. Hopefully that's strong enough to hold that in place. I seem to be getting it all over the place. All right, and then for the center of that, I was going to add, there we go, I was going to go and add this flat back pearl onto the top. So this is going to be the center of our rosette, and I'm going to let that dry, and I'm just going to set that off to the side to dry. And then we're going to start in on our rosette. Now there's a few different ways to make rosettes. With a template is much easier, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this line right here, so the middle line to follow with my ribbon. And you can sew, you can glue, you know, there's lots of different ways that you can combine. I've even seen a lot of people work to the point where they have used staples, and so I thought I would try that here, but I don't want too many staples, so I thought I would put some pieces together first, going around this circle. And let's see how much I can hold here before we move on and need to actually staple. All right, so we could also, I guess, pin or clip and then glue afterwards. But I'm trying to follow that outer edge, and I want it to look round on the edge, so I want this edge to be rather smooth as I go around. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to right now. And the amount that I'm grabbing from the outside is just what feels comfortable in my hand. So let's see, I've got about 4 pieces there. I'm going to tuck that one piece behind, and you may end up cutting that off, or I'm not sure what we'll do with that. Maybe we'll just leave that one straight, since these 3 seem to match well. All right, and then I'm going to go on and make a 4th here. And so I'm just following my guide around, and I'm getting to the point where it's getting a little bit harder to hold it. So I think at this point we will staple. And I'm going to go ahead and staple right onto the paper, because I can tear that away afterwards. The only thing you want to watch out for here is that when you do something like this and you're stapling, you just want to make sure, oh, my staple didn't do very well. And I think I unfolded a few there too. All right, let's try this again. You just don't want to build up so much underneath the center piece, which in my case is going to be a button. Now, did I get through this one or not? Yeah, okay, that one did a little bit better. So you can see I'm trying to stay into the center with what I'm stapling. All right. And I'm trying to make my folds here to be similar in size. So it is a little bit of finagling. I don't know if you're more comfortable if you have a guide that you follow as to, you know, how much you fold with, or, I mean, if you did this, if you made these on a regular basis, of course, you would have a system in place, I'm sure. There we go. I'm going to try to staple that while it's looking good. And once again, I want to be able to hide my stapling. Goodness. Not wanting to staple. All right, I have a feeling it's a failure more of my stapler than my crafting here. So let me get these back in place. Have you ever made a rosette? I mean, I've done rosettes with, you know, folded paper, but I have not done with ribbon before. So, just trying to make everything look nice and even. I've got one that looks a little wonky here. Pink. Starting to look good here. So you get the idea. We just follow this process all the way around. And like I said, there's other ways to join these together. I mean, you could glue, you could staple, you could sew. I liked the idea of stapling because it's quick and easy, for one, and for two, as you can see, it's not becoming really permanent for me because I can remove the staple, or not even staple, right? Because, let's see, can I get a staple to come out? Yeah, I'm having trouble with that. So, error with the stapler, but I want to hold this together because it's looking pretty nice. So I'm going to throw a clamp in there and figure out what is wrong here. Had some stuck in there. So like I said, stapler error. Let's see, can we get another one to go? Alright, I'm going to give this another go on my ribbon, hopefully. Oh my goodness, we just came undone. Alright, I'm going to have to go another route besides the stapler. Alright, so I'm going to show you what I ended up doing, and what seems to be working here for me is that I am actually sewing these together, as well as I'm sewing it in the middle, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm just adjusting my folds here so that they're more uniform. Alright, and I'm using my sewing clips around the outside just to kind of hold things in place. So what I'm doing here is I am actually sewing this to the paper, going up and down, and you can see here I'm trying to leave the center open a little bit, because if I were to layer the whole rosette on top of itself in the middle, this would get quite high. So I am folding and holding it in place to get the desired look I want, right? And so I'm going around like so, and then for every fold that I make, I am going up and through the ribbon. All right, so here is my next fold I just made. Trying to line things up, make it look good. All right, and so then I'm sewing up through the paper, up through a few layers of ribbon. And you definitely want a sewing needle for this, because you want the thinnest needle you can find to go up and down through your ribbons, because when you start sewing through a few layers of your ribbon, you're going to find that it is quite thick. I tried first using an embroidery needle, and that was just a little too thick for what I wanted. So you can see I'm able to manipulate what I'm doing, not only with the sewing, but also by clipping around the outer edge. All right. So for this one, I actually folded twice. So let's see if that works for me, because I have been doing it every single fold. And in the beginning, I was able to just go up and not back down. So going up and down every other fold. But here, as it gets a little bit thicker and larger, I'm finding going back and forth for each one seems to work well. And you can see that the ends here, this is why I'm using the clips, is that the ribbon really does need to get clipped or pressed into place until we're done. So I'm going to clip that there. I'm going to grab my needle and go back and forth again here. And so yeah, I can feel it getting much thicker down here at the bottom. So I'm just about halfway there. Alright, so I have gotten it sewn all the way around, and I kind of want to protect what I have going on here. So I'm going to go to the back here and pull away paper from the center. Leaving everything still clipped up at the top. So I'm just pulling around where we stitched, and even leaving some of that paper in there is fine. But what I want to do is open up enough here and leave enough so it's still folded. But I want to glue on this felt piece on the back to make it more secure. So to do that, I'm going to use fabric tack, and I have a little kind of almost one use, if you will. So I cut this out of very sturdy felt, but really any fabric felt, even another piece of the ribbon back here could work. But I'm being generous with the fabric tack, and so I'm going to stick that on there. And then once that's secure, I can remove my clips. But while I have that going, I could then, I'm going to double check, make sure this is glued well. It is. And so now I'm going to glue this into the center. And once again, I'm going to use my fabric tack here to hold this down. And I'm going to just apply it all over the back of the button. All right, get that back in the lid, and I'll clean up that glue later. So there, that is what my rosette is gonna look like. but I'm going to let that dry before I remove my outer clips. So there is our rosette, kind of wonky front and back until it glues. And the fabric tack won't take terribly long to form a bond, and if I lift up here, I can tell that it's already starting to grab. So there we have it.